So why is this 4-star character good? If you look around tier lists, you see this guy is all over the top of the charts of tier lists. Obviously, if you put him in like an S rank or A rank, he's usually around the A rank of sub DPS. But not only is he a sub DPS, but he is also a pretty good buffer. We're talking about a guy named Mortefi. Mortefi, I don't know how to say his name. Besides the pecs he puts out, he is a pretty good unit. So first, of course, we have to know what's going on with this kit. But basically, if you're able to use his Resonance Liberation, he's able to be like an off-field sub DPS for the next character that's out there attacking. But not only does he do sub DPS while helping the next person in line, but with his outro skill, he also gives a 38% heavy damage attack deepen for 14 seconds. And that's applied to the next character you use for their intro skill and whatnot. So the way that he works is you want to bring up that forte at the bottom, and when you use his skill, he uses that new thing. And that is built up as you bring up Annoyance, so you want to build that all the way. And if you have your burst, you actually want to save that until you can switch your character. Once you're able to switch your character, you can use your burst and then bring out your main DPS. And he's very good with Gion because with his liberation, he uses a lot of heavy attacks, which is very good for building up his Morkato or whatever it's called. Alright, so what just happened now that I've calmed down from the battle? Because I can't focus well when I'm battling. But basically, when you use his skill, he fills up his little gauge at the bottom of the Forte circuit. And when you build that up, that's building up Annoyance. And when you get that to 100%, his skill turns to a thing called Fury Fudge. And I am not joking, it's called Fury Fudge. I like fudge. And all that really does changes his skill to unleash a high-speed flaming lightning fusion damage thing. But the most important is when I use his Resonance Liberation. I can't get used to saying that. Because as mentioned earlier, he uses like a sub DPS when he's off field and using Gion and he's attacking at the same time. Now currently in this game, and if you want to use Mortefi at his best, this is probably the best team to use right now. With Gion being your main DPS, Mortefi being your sub DPS, and Verena being your healer and supporter. If you can recall with this outro skill, he makes the heavy attacks way better for the next character. But if you use Gion's ultimate, it makes all of his attacks basically like a heavy attack, which is why if you put him together with Mortefi, it just deals a lot of damage for your main DPS in Gion. So you have Verena who's putting up buffs as well as her Echo putting buffs. Then you have this guy with his heavy attack deepen, and then also his attack up and whatnot with his Echo. And also if you get him at his max limit break, even more attack up, all just for your main DPS to deal a lot of big boy damage and not knocked out like my level 1 Gion. But of course, not only is Gion good, there's I mean a couple others that are decent, like Kalcharo. He could work with Kalcharo too. The reason he can work with Kalcharo is because he can also deal a lot of damage, especially when he's in his Resonance Liberation state. You're putting up a lot of basic attacks, which means Mortefi will be doing a lot of sub DPS with his Liberation. God, I can't. Resonance. But he can also deal a little bit of damage with his heavy attack, but of course it's not as good as Gion. If you have the little furry boy here, Ling Yang, he's not too bad to use together with Mortefi as well, because he also uses quite a bit of regular attacking and heavy attacks. Unfortunately, small boy there does not deal as much damage like Kalcharo. And of course, if you're maining Encore, the little girl right here with the little woolly thing, she's also just dealing like basic attack damage and heavy attack damage, so you can also work together with Mortefi, I can't even say his name now. Please don't judge me, but overall, he's a stud. He can work with a lot of team compositions. But now, what about his echoes? How can you make him even better? I haven't grinded, okay? I haven't grinded the echoes. Don't judge me. Now, there's a lot of echoes, so I haven't tested it myself really, so I'm just going off what I've read online and what a lot of other people have to say. But right now, it is pretty recommended to use the Impermanence Heron. But basically, what you want to do with the Heron after you do all your stuff is you want to summon it, let it do its attack, and then you switch out of it, and then you start attacking with your main DPS. Basically, how it works is you want to build up everything, and before you send out your ultimate, send out the Heron first attack, switch out, and then you start attacking with your main DPS. But unfortunately, my Gion is not built, so of course he's not gonna deal as much damage. But because, you know, basic attack, heavy attack, oh, we're dead. He's just a pretty solid dude. There, it's supposed to be flying like that, not earlier. That's how you use him. Another reason that a lot of people like this Heron as his main Echo is because not only does it give energy regen, but it also puts an attack up for the next Resonator on the outro skill. But like I mentioned, I haven't grinded, so I don't have the subsets right now, but you want to get crit damage or crit rate with your 4-piece. Then with the 4 down here, you want to get fusion damage, some attack, and more attack. And when you level them, you'll get substats. You want to get energy recharge, and then you want crit rate or crit damage, and then even more attack. And for skills, I would focus on his resonance liberation and then bring up his inherent skills, then his forte skill and then resonance skill and then basic attack. Because Mortefi here, he mostly shines because of his ultimate, his resonance liberation, and his outro skill. And if you do get copies of this guy, he's actually really good at, I don't know what they call it, but at his max limit break, it's actually really good because he can also bring up attack for all of your party members by 20%. And that, friends, is why a lot of people like Mortefi here. And currently, to get him, he is in the rate up for the event banner, but you can actually get him in the beginner choice banner as well. Only difference is he's not a rate up, so he is going to be a bit harder to get, but you know, that's how you can get him. But anyways, that's basically it. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys all again in the next video. Goodbye.